the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear I weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Welcome everyone, welcome, and salutations, good morning, well, good afternoon as for the viewers that are on the same timestamp as I am. I've been doing alright. I've been a little bit busy. I'll be honest, I have been shirking my duty. I have been shirking my duty.
Hey Vash, your mic's picking up intermittently. It's not picking up clearly.
Oh, test, 1, 2. How's that?
That's better.
Alright. Like I was saying, I've been shirking my duty a little bit, and right now there's there's a game that I kinda ignored for a little while. Oh, whoops. Right now I'm smoking this cigarette real quick, and I'm getting everything set up over here before I really go deep into this. Alright, there we go. Okay. Well, my mic's showing that I'm able to talk a little bit better now. Hopefully. Hopefully I won't need to enhance it. I might need to do some mic enhancements. Anybody, somebody go ahead and tell me if my voice is alright. I will I'll go ahead and
You're a little bit low.
all right. Well, give me just a second. I can fix that. I'm pretty good at fixing that now. Yeah, I heard you. Just give me a couple seconds and let me work on it a little bit, and we'll be right back up and running, and we will continue this game. I still have no idea what's going on in this game. I'll be perfectly honest. All right, let's do a mic boost. All right, let's test that out. How's that?
You sound good to me. Let it come across the stream.
All right, so this sounds good. All right. So that
much better.
yeah, I had to boost up my 5x5 here. What's up, Mr. Stoney? Glad that you could make it. Yeah, I was watching Ogre stream, and I gotta say, I wasn't able to do this before, but I got it done this time. So Ogre, hopefully you're watching. I gave you a custom image for you being a stream boss, and there we go. There it is, right there. You know. Let's take a look. Looking at the. Oh.
Nice.
93 texted. Alright.
Also, Vash, Secular was wanting to join you.
Secular Outrage? Yeah, sure. He can go ahead and join in. It's pretty much an open mic, since this is like a classical game. Maybe he might be able to help me out in figuring heads or tails of it. This is one of those old school games where you have to use your imagination a little bit, because like, if you're just looking at the walls, they all look the same, man. Like, it's really hard to like discern what is and what isn't in this game. But yeah, man, if he wants to come in, you know, hit up the waiting room, and as per usual, people have them come right in. And as for that link, let me double check that real quick. I'm gonna take a look. 93 Society, 9-letter Budweiser, 93. Alright. Chemical formula. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that link. Thank you for providing me that. But we hear the game going. We hear that game going. We know what it is. We know exactly what it is. This game is awesome. Yes it is. Alright, but we're trying to get it in there. Alright. Now, where I was, Vash is saved. Alright, let's see here. We still got a couple hours, but I'm not sure if I've already went into this cyberspace terminal. Oh, no, I gotta collect all the stuff. Now, I don't know how to boost myself or anything, but I gotta say, this was like breathtaking whenever it came out. Like, this was all 3D. Like, you know, this was like, wow. You know, one of those types of things where people would just, you know, whoa, it's like I can see it, and, you know. Like, now, it hasn't really aged that well, but at the same time, it's still one of those games that I think it's going to be pretty fucking cool. Because I like this, even though I've only went to one of these. And, oh, we got a virus over here. We're going to have to... Bat! Oh, it was a cyber dog, guys. It was a cyber dog.
It's not showing on the stream yet.
Oh, it's not? Alright, give me just a second. I gotta get this stuff done, because you know that I have like one of those time limits on this thing. Recall. to escape. I'm not gonna escape yet. I got plenty of time. Got that decoy software. Now, alright, there we go. And, whoa, got that sea shield. Definitely needed that.
And we are at 350 subscribers.
Woo! Yeah! Alright, we attack that thing. Gotta run through there. And then, oh, gotta hit this one. Alright, now I gotta go over here and get this. Come on. Alright, come on. Come on. Get over there. Personal integrity restored. Didn't know I needed my integrity. But we got a Pulsar version 2. So we got an upgrade on the Pulsar. Now we're back in here. We've established that part. I've already did the cyberspace part. Now I gotta... Okay. Just double checking, making sure that this thing's working. Apparently it's not wanting to. Maybe if I... Properties... Let's see here.
We're on it, Jacob.
Alright. There we go. Now let's see if that'll work. Is that gonna work for us?
Well, the little origin thing that was on it disappeared.
Yeah, but that's not what we're wanting. We're wanting... Hold on. Just sit tight, man.
You're also lagging a little bit.
Alright. But yeah, Ogre is the new stream boss, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Mr. Ogre, for your generous donations. It did not go unnoticed. Now I gotta get this damn thing going. Now, properties. No, not this war of mine. I wasn't saying this war of mine. I didn't want that.
That was a good game, though.
Oh yeah, I did enjoy it, but that is not the game we are playing right now. We are playing...
But once you get your game fixed to where it's working, you need to work on your rate or something, because your scrolling text is pausing every so many seconds.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. It's not showing me that I have dropped frames. I can see it lagging on the computer myself. Maybe if I go ahead and do this, and yeah, maybe that might work. Maybe that'll help out a little bit. Alright. It should be. Well, you know what? I'm gonna remove that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, quality dropped.
There we go.
Anybody in the chat, is it lagging?
Oh no, it's lagging for them too.
Okay, just making sure it wasn't just our internet.
And hello, Carol. How are you doing? Alright. So I'm gonna just do this real quick. Maybe this might help it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. Add game capture. Okay. Capture any? No. We want to capture a specific window, and that window is the SystemShock. Is that gonna... that gonna do it for us?
Yeah, we've played this game before, but on stream, but it's just not working for us right now.
The last Prey game I liked. Hey, memes. Dealing with some technical difficulties, but we should be running smoothly in just a couple minutes. But yeah, it's just a few technical difficulties. I'm not sure what's going on here, but just stick with us for just a couple more minutes. Let me see here. I'm gonna try that, apply that. Let's see if there'll be a little bit of a lag spike, but it should. Alright, well, let's try a window capture. Maybe that might work. Alright, well, there we go. Alright. We got it. We fixed it. Mission fucking accomplished.
And we fixed the lag issue.
Now to fix the lag, man. There's nothing.
Oh god, it's full screen.
I can't do nothing to please this woman.
There we go.
Man, typical woman, am I right, guys? Am I right? Ha ha ha. Alright.
I take care of you, and you know it.
Yeah, you do. You do. Now, let's try and do this by software. And let's hope it's... Alright, I'm gonna have to stop the stream real quick, and then I'm gonna have to restart it. So I will see you guys in... Okay, what the fuck? Oh, god damn it, Steam.
Was Steam trying to update?
Yep.
Lol.
It loves doing that whenever I'm trying to do other shit.
Welcome to the 8 people watching. If you're enjoying it, the technical difficulties so far.
Yeah, I know, right?
Please leave a like.
Alright, well. Let's see here. This should be smoothing out soon. Like, I gotta say, this is... Let's try 2800 on the video bitrate. Maybe that'll... And...
Maybe, but you look like you're actually in the game at the moment because of how blurry the quality is.
Alright. Should be speeding up a little bit now. Alright, let's try and soup this baby up. Alright. It's looking a little bit... Damn it. The only thing I didn't like was the VR sections. Yeah, the virtual reality. Hopefully this won't. Alright, so there's that. Okay, reset the source. Yep, I did. Well, nothing now. Alright. Last game, Prey. Yep. Alright, yeah, I addressed everybody in the chat. Alright. Carol, thank you for joining. Jacob, thank you for joining. Memes, thank you for joining. All right, now I'm watching this. I'm watching it, and it's saying my stream health is good, but I don't necessarily believe them.
I think it might just be our internet.
Yeah.
Being bottlenecked really bad.
Yeah, fucking people bottlenecking our internet and shit. But yeah. Alright, well, that's the best I can do so far, so we're gonna go ahead and continue. And hopefully you guys can just tolerate it a little bit. We've been having issues with internet for a little while now, so okay. Because the house of the office of Dargun will be moving soon. And standard temperature, medical computer cyberlock. I thought I opened that shit. How did I not open it? I passed through them.
Yeah, this is bad.
Alright. Okay, taken off the line. Now, shoot. I bet that these people had issues with like people having to use the mouse. Ah, I ran into that. That wasn't very good. That wasn't very cash money of me. Okay, but is it at least, can they see the game? That's what I'm mainly concerned about. Fuck my camera, can they see the game? Can you guys see this game alright?
They can see the game, and the sound's coming through fine. It's all the video.
Okay, well, if they can see the game alright, then I'm okay with that.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Miastra and a Memes with us.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, Memes?
What's going on? So, no, Miestra and I were just talking about how I guess apparently this camera and mic override feature in Google Hangouts has been a thing basically since it's like going on 6 years now.
Going on 7 years now. It was released in first quarter of 2012, so it'll be 7 years next year.
Isn't that a little invasive?
Well, here's the thing. No, I think the interesting thing is, like, apparently this has been a thing for a while here. But to be fair, a lot of us, like I was just saying to him, like about 5 or 6 years ago, I remember when that Mark Zuckerberg photo came out, it was circulated around like all these major news outlets, and you're looking at it, and he's got a MacBook very much like mine, but he's got a little piece of tape over the camera, much like mine used to have before I really stopped caring. So at that point, I'm like, if we've been aware and have taken basically actual actions to help prevent against things like that, maybe we weren't looking for things like that. Just because it was weird, because Mad Dodge, I think he was using Chrome, but he said when he logged in this time, he did say new features. And under the new features, it did actually say you have the ability to basically force on or off someone's camera and mic. We tested them as well. It didn't work against MC because I think MC is using a VPN or something. So like I know there are like blockers built into some software, but somebody that does not have that on, if basically Hangouts has the permission to turn on and off your cameras. Apparently a lot of the folks that this may have affected, they had already taken precautions, because I did that shit. Then I'm like, you know what, if somebody wanted to watch me watching porn, I mean, hey, power to them. It's victimless crime.
Well, but I know there's this stream with Amazing Atheists back from like 2013 or so where people force his camera on.
Yep.
They were using Hangouts for that. And that's around when people started using OBS and some type of voice client. Now that Discord's out, almost everyone uses that. But that's why it hasn't really entered into the concept. However, I mean, Hangouts is starting to pick up as an actual IM client because it works very much how the old AIM used to work.
Well, that's the thing, but Hangouts is going away. like they're discontinuing it in 2019. Like it's a piece of like forgotten old software. And I think a lot of this is if they're shutting down Google Plus, which I think was the main back end for probably Google Hangouts.
Yeah,
so if they're getting rid of pieces of that, maybe like admin server architecture, basically the things they're just putting it out, or some may even say, well, we're giving this function. But if it's been there, I just don't think this has always been there. Or maybe just certain folks, they just weren't looking for it because maybe it's not something they were just thinking of.
It really is, because I mean, how many people want to delve into like the command fig controls to see what all they can do? That's a rather rare breed of person.
Well, that's like an admin feature if you're trying to like debug the actual like program itself. I would think I'm not familiar with it, but I'm like, if you're trying to figure out how it would work, because I mean, even Cabbage said he's like, well, maybe some intern or something was working on this. So like, just tinker around with this program because he said he was in the business. And a lot of times, if you actually think about it now, maybe that would make sense, because if this is a thing that's going away and you have somebody just kind of working at the software, seeing how you can integrate, because the interesting thing is this doesn't affect remote users. So basically, if you're using a mobile device, there is no camera functionality.
Damn it, I got eaten again.
Oh, I'm sorry, I paused the stream.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry, we started hijacking your video game.
Oh, no. Like, I mean, it's good to have some background banter because I'm gonna be, like, focused on trying to do everything on here. Alright, taken offline, showed in security, block established. Okay. But go ahead, sorry.
Dude, there's moving blocks and shit. I have no idea what this is, but
well, I mean, you gotta understand, Hangouts is losing a lot of money to OBS because that's what Hangouts basically does. Is it allows you to stream your screen and voice calls without actually needing a broadcast studio like OBS or what is it? LightScribe is the other one.
Well, no, I mean, isn't this the whole like that's what YouTube's trying to do anyway to try to probably help become more profitable or be more useful, because the new studio basically is, I thought the whole point why people didn't like it if they were using basically a PC or a Mac was that you were basically just, you had to go in through all these other means and stuff like that, rather than just actually having it worked into like the actual broadcast on the site. It's like, all right, you log into a Hangout. Hangout is based upon Google Plus as far as basically core identifying information. It's like, all right, so now you're going through those loopholes, those portals and everything there. Now you're connecting to YouTube through basically something that's not necessarily directly on site. So you need to run through that, but rather than just having it just go to YouTube and broadcast to YouTube.
Yeah, but like what in general is YouTube going to build into its back end? Because like mobile user stream is realistically what I would expect that to be put into the next studio. So in the next iteration of the studio, what I would expect to see would be a whole lot of features from Google Plus and the Google Hangouts client just built into the YouTube presenter. So that way, if you download like the
Google Plus
app,
is being fixed. That's the thing. Google Plus is going away as well as
the name Google Plus could be going away, but the software might not be going away. They might just
just like core features
Plus and integrate the software into YouTube, because you can use YouTube as an actual messenger already. Like you can just go into YouTube and message someone without posting on their video or anything like that through the Creator Studio. You can talk to people one-to-one on YouTube right now. So I would bet that Google Plus is going to go away, and that's going to get integrated into that. Yeah. Because YouTube profit Google Plus is not.
That's the interesting thing, you know, it's a feature that's been there for a while, but it was also like, what was it? It's basically the extension of what was it, like the old wall feature, the discussion where it's like, very often there was people like never posted there.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. For a long time, YouTube has made a backup video of everything you've done and posted it to your Google Plus account.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What they were doing beforehand is like, things might not break the YouTube terms of service, but they break the Google Plus terms of service, so therefore...
you also could be admitting to certain past crimes and shit. Dude, here's the thing. Dude, it's an archive of fucking blackmail.
Yeah.
Well, that's an opinion.
I mean, if you really think about it, if you want to take the worst possible iteration, if you're going to entertain that idea, it's like, you're broadcasting your life, and it's like Google knows who you are and stuff like that. It's like, all right, how much do you trust Google? I mean, Google, dude, look at what Google has brought us. They've done a lot of good shit. Their motto did used to be, "Don't be evil." What if certain pioneers in Google and stuff were like, God damn it, once you get to this size, there is going to be a certain level of evil applied. Like, you can't please everybody. There will be winners, there will be losers. You just got to try to do the best you can. It seems to be a sad but relevant fact, and we all want to preach complete purity. So, like, we're human beings. We're imperfect. We're imperfect creatures.
Theories. I'm getting into what the company very well might do with their intellectual property. And I don't see a reason why a company as large as Google would throw away that ingrained network. I see them much.
No. Well, that's the thing. They're sacrificing those two companies to basically YouTube. They're using it as an offering. They're throwing it to the volcano that is YouTube. That is essentially replacing television.
Well, yes, but if they can build in okay, what I foresee happening, and you cut me off a couple times, but what I foresee happening is them taking YouTube and adding the functionality conversation of Hangouts into the Creator Studio, and then them adding wall feature from Google Plus into the YouTube page. Since you can already send direct messages via YouTube, they'll just turn that into a Facebook equivalent kind of thing with movie hosting. So since there's so many active users on it, so you're right, they are going to cannibalize these two bankrupting companies and integrate it into one that would work. And realistically, if their sale pitch for YouTube is all you need is the app and you can stream directly to site, no other software required, it does make it more accessible without having to get third-party software, which for YouTube would be Hangouts. If they build Hangouts into YouTube, you're just activating the streaming function of YouTube.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't see this technology going away in any way, shape, or form. I just see it getting rebranded, renamed, and then added to the Creator Studio. Because everyone has access to the Creator Studio, even if you're not monetized. All you need to do is have an official account with YouTube.
Yep.
Dude, that's very true. And dude, I'm sorry for cutting you off, Yeshra. The reason is why this is something that I actually am very passionate about, because I do have a past history in it. But Google at this point, it's when certain folks make the pinky in the brain reference, it's like that's coming out to me right now. Just because not because of just this, but because of three factors right here. Dude, all I'm looking at, like, YouTube right now, what is it as far as the internet goes? If you're like watching things, like, literally it can be your Netflix. You can get pretty much anything, but you might have to pay a price. You might have to pay a subscription. Dude, a complete full out here, dude. I actually do have a YouTube premium account, because for me to have my mobile to be able to condense that down into just an audio podcast, I feel that should be just an inherent function just to save data and electricity. But at the same time, I'm willing to pay for that feature, as well as no ads. I don't have to go through any goddamn ads freaking anywhere. Pardon my French.
Okay, you brought up the the YouTube Plus account. Well, what if one of the features of YouTube Plus was integrating these stream services at your disposal, but at a higher bit rate? So, for example, like if you don't play for Discord tonight, this is gonna sound a little weird. Just let me get to my point. I'm gonna get in the weeds for a second. You don't pay for Discord Nitro, you can't screen share at 1080p or at 2160. However, if you pay for Discord Nitro, you can. So going back to my previous thought about what Google's going to do with YouTube and the destruction of Google Plus, what if you get access to Hangouts, but it's only at 720? If you want to stream at 1080, you have to pay them $1.99 a month or whatever. And you get a higher compression rate, better videos, better quality stream.
You're providing an additional service that's not free, and you're charging a fee for the additional service. Yeah, no, that's
I mean, like, from my perspective, I don't know dick about OBS. I've been in the weeds. Thank goodness Optimus gave me a hand, because like he really helped me get my streaming looking better already. So it's not quite the pain in the ass to use OBS, and if Google just makes it easier on the random Joe, you're paying for your own convenience, and that's typically what people will invest money in. Is paying money so that way they don't have to do diddly squat.
creating ease of access.
Exactly. I mean, you can still post to YouTube at 1080p if you want to get in the weeds with Streamlabs or OBS or whatever to make it work. But if you just want to use Google, pay them this much for Google Premium, and now Hangouts will do 1080p for you at a high compression rate, and you can have it to like 15 people on a call or something because they double the access or some shit. Because at that point, you're paying to use this dead software that's bankrupting this particular wing of Google. Like when Microsoft was forced to break up into Microsoft Games and all that other shit, a good amount of the MSN, internet features got split between the Microsoft Game Studios and the Microsoft Office Windows Studio. They didn't add any new software. They just broke up the MSN grouping shit that was getting its ass kicked by Facebook and just moved it into these two ventures. And then let MSN just die. It's still kind of there. You can get some Hotmail, kind of. But then again, Yahoo Mail's still existing, but good luck using their Messenger. I think that's closed. That's what I more foresee, because it will save them a lot of money to do that. I'm sorry, you keep unmuting and I keep continually talking. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. It's just because otherwise I will interject and start to talk over you just because of the level of my passion in this, just because I'll condense it into about 20 seconds. See, what is Google becoming at this point? Google is our source of information within its browser and the sublets of its browser. It is a source of entertainment by way of like YouTube and like affiliate links as far as like the movies. And now with Google Fi, which is basically now they are providing, keep your phone, but just change your plan. Just switch over to Google's wireless cell carrier network. They've become the means of transmission as well. Dude, it's like taking like 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, using a polymerization card and coming up with a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, dude. It is fucking ferocious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're trimming off the parts that don't work to launch another thing, I mean, they can integrate the shit that died in Google Plus and build that into their phone app. I mean, as it is now, if you run
how much does Alphabet own?
Well, that's the scary thing. Like, if you run into trouble with Alphabet,
because we've just been talking about Google right now, man.
Well, I know, but you asked about Alphabet. If you run afoul of Alphabet and you use a Samsung phone, they can deny you access to your phone because they took away your Google account. So therefore, you cannot use the phone. That's already how it's set up. Let alone if you use their actual cell service. That's just because you have an Android that is a Google machine. Therefore, you're owned by Alphabet. Like, that's one of the problems that people have if they lose their Google Plus account already because they ran afoul of that.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, that's what happened to Sargon got locked out, like his YouTube account. Professor Peterson's Gmail went down, which was the kernel for his YouTube, so his YouTube, like, wasn't available, and it's like, this is interesting. Oh, let me talk to some journalists I know. They talk to some folks, and oh, look, it's back within like 7 or 8 hours.
Well, yeah, but what about the average user? You say mean words on the internet.
Oh, that is fair. That is fair.
You run mean words on the internet and have a 36-hour ban, and now you lose your cell phone too because that's under your account setting because they're integrating account features across the board because that makes it easier to use, ease of access that you already mentioned.
Well, I mean, that's a lot like the fact that Blizzard was wanting you to merge your. Have you heard about this before? Like they were doing like the whole nationals and stuff for Overwatch. They wanted you to merge your Google account or no, the Twitch account with your Battle.net account.
Yep.
And personally, I was feeling kind of, I was like, that's a bit dicey for me.
Well, I mean, you brought up the VNet account. If you look at Twitch, VNet, Uplay, and Origin from EA, they have the right of access because of the terms of service, which nobody fucking reads, by the way. It's a good 70 pages. But they have the right of
38 into Apples once, and then I gave up.
Well, but here's the thing. Since you have to integrate your social portals when you do this, They have the right, because you sign it over, to go through your social media posts when you're not using their software or their site, and if you say or do anything on any social media they don't like, they can ban you for it. That's already been the case. Twitch brought that out February of this year. Nobody rebutted it at all. So now
if they're providing like core essential functional services in our modern day of age, and you're being denied service because you said some mean things to somebody somewhere, that seems like it could potentially go wrong.
It very well could. I mean, you can't. Trump can't block people on Twitter, but Twitter can block you. The argument that Trump can't block people on Twitter.
Wait, hold on. Russian joke? Because that's what that sounds like to me.
No, this is law. Trump got sued and is not allowed to block people on the POTUS account. However, Twitter is allowed to block anyone they want for violating their terms of service. Trump can't block people on Twitter because it's considered a public forum. Twitter can block people because they're not considered a publisher, they're considered a hosting service. So we already have that dynamic substantiated in law. It's not future Bill to think of. It's already there.
The way you just described that to me, it sounds like, in United States of America, you no block Twitter, but Twitter block you.
That's exactly how it was intended to sound, because I found that lawsuit incredibly egregious, but it's already been substantiated and done with. It's over with. That's the reason why all those journos sued Trump, was because he was blocking them for harassing him on Twitter, and they won their suit. He can't block anyone on Twitter because it affects them because he's the president. Twitter is still purging people. That hasn't changed.
Yep.
This is like 7-month-old bullshit, but nobody seems to have cared about it then.
I remember that. That seemed like a historic precedent for some reason, and I thought something would come of it, but like...
And I was yelling and screaming about it at the time, and I was told quite adamantly that I was a conspiracy theorist for presenting these ideas. All I'm doing is just saying exactly what the judgment was.
Like, isn't this like the core of like how the United States is supposed to be different than Russia? It's like we're both great, powerful nations, but like the difference between us and them, it's like they have like those Mother Russia jokes and stuff like that, and there is definitely, you see instances you're like, holy shit, like there is crazy shit that goes up, and you're like, we over here, it's like, all right, if some crazy shit goes down, it's like, we want there to be a trial, we want there to be due process and shit like that, and it's like I thought that was a core, like, if you can make like a joke like that about the United States of America right now, like, shit don't seem right.
Well, but see, that's the thing that I find annoying. Like, there are a bunch of leftists, for some reason, that are now supporting corporate rights, saying that the First Amendment doesn't protect you from corporate entities. And therefore, corporations can block your speech. This is why leftists are supporting Twitter and Facebook of purging obnoxious characters like Alex Jones. I mean, Alex Jones is nothing like Andrew Anglin, but they still find him obnoxious, so they got rid of him. However, the First Amendment covers your suppression of speech, period. A publisher has the right to suppress your speech. So if you write into the New York Times for an op-ed and they don't like it, they don't have to publish it, because they are liable for everything said on their paper. A distributor does not have that legal liability. However, every tech giant in social media is acting like a publisher and a distributor. They are curating results, and they are claiming that they're not responsible for the content on their sites. You cannot have it both ways. I've been screaming this for months, and things are now just starting to get to the point where the slippery slope has been long since surpassed, and you are seeing the ramifications of legal decisions because they weren't properly brought up against. And it's not even Mother Russia. Just look at the EU. You can't reprint anything, copyright infringement, etc., etc.
So what I'm hearing is we're halfway down the water slide.
Yeah, we are, and the last part's going to get much bumpier and much worse, because when these tech giants who already have substantiated law cases to back up their decisions start acting upon them, especially like what Twitch floated, and nobody pushed back. You know, the same arguments were used about Twitch, where it's like, well, it's their site, the company can do whatever it wants, but that means that, you know, literally, it can go through any social media you have. So, like, let's say you have, you know, a Pornhub account. According to the terms of service on Twitch, they need access to that. Now, they don't ask for it, but yeah, it is stated in their terms of service, any and all social media platforms, accounts, et cetera, et cetera. It covers your entire online footprint.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because even earlier with Hangouts, Mr. Ogre was doing a Hangout there, and he was playing some copyright material. And then within just like a couple of minutes of playing it, all of a sudden he's getting this warning on screen. It's like, warning, you are playing copyright material, blah, blah, blah. And it's one of those things where, yes, they have that ability, and they'll normally hit you on a video. Like, if you use copyright material and you don't have a permission, and like there haven't been a number of cases using this particular footage, they're going to hit you with a copyright. You appeal, as long as it's fair use or whatnot. It goes through, and then it goes back up. It's a pain in the ass, but that's the system that's been put in place. But in this instance, it's just he's playing music and stuff, and to be fair, it was pretty much just a lot of music. And it came up, and he's like, all right. Then all of a sudden, I tell him the ability to do the camera operation. So 2 new things, and Hangouts kind of scared the shit out of him a little bit, because it really is terrifying. But even if it's one of those things that's there, that Hangouts thing, they never really actively enforced it on streams. If you played 3 hours of music straight, maybe they give you a strike. But
yeah,
one of those things, it was loosely enforced.
A monetary strike where the money for this video now goes to the artists or whatever that you were using. They don't take down your actual stream. At least that's the old paradigm for using it. But I mean, the big thing that I'm wanting to ram home is the fact that if you actually get into the Hangout TOS under Google+, you cannot sue for anyone using your likeness because of that feature. They can turn that on. You sign that away when you acknowledge joining the conversation of the Hangout. That's why you have to sign a terms of service use every Hangout you join. Period.
Wait a second. Wait, are you saying you don't have the rights to your likeness?
Not if it's someone else's call.
Yeah.
The owner of the call is the one whose intellectual property it is, not yours.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were talking about just like standard pictures or like avatars or shit like that.
No. I'm talking specifically within Hangouts, within the Hangout itself. That's why you have to sign a terms of service check every time you join a Hangout, even if it's with the same people over and over again. So that way, Google...
Dude, that thing has to have changed, because all I know is it used to be longer. It used to say like, your likeness may be broadcast on this and this and this like that. But recently, when I looked at it, it did look shorter. It was different. Maybe it had changed. I don't know when, because I remember I read Hangouts at least once or twice the first couple of times I joined. And then I noticed this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it says it's whoever is hosting or whatnot, they may have the right to turn your mic or camera on or off. That is something that was not there before, man.
Well, that's because Twitch won their lawsuit. Only one aggrieved party bothered to sue Twitch. So because Twitch won their lawsuit, a lot of terms of services have changed because it's already been substantiated in law. And
how long ago was that? Sorry.
Getting a judgment repealed is a pain in the ass. I mean, it is significantly harder to get a judgment appealed than it is to win a suit when the law is in question. So the fact that Twitch won that suit means that any and all social media companies can do this now, where they can go through your other social media. That's part of why a lot of terms of service has changed, and there's been some updates to terms of service on a good number of social platforms that they've required that you check the box again. Now, how many people read that 85 pages? It's just like, I gotta click the button again.
Gotcha. No, but like, you remember, like, at least in World of Warcraft back in the day, they give you patch notes and stuff. It's like, here are the core things, and like, here's the rest of it. And like, if you really care, you actually looked at the rest of it. But it's like, all right, hire a hunter. You get a new like aim shot level. Yay! I remember when I got level 12 fireball. It was fucking amazing. Yay!
Yeah, but that's a video game, and they're saying that to their core subscriber base because it's a pay service game. They're not required to legally do that. They're doing that because they're
well, I know that, but if it was at least pitched that way, it would look bad, but at least folks would understand.
Yeah, but they printed in the new terms of service. No one's reading the terms of service. Gamers read the patch notes because they want to know the changes. Users don't read the terms of service, even if it's in there, because they don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking about...
Well, until they care.
Well, yeah, but at that point, it's already too late. What, you're going to care now after there's been 2 substantial lawsuits saying that these companies can do that? Well, tough shit.
Well, that's okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. And you know what? That's why I said, is this illegal?
No.
Because I don't. That's the thing, dude. Even
Totally
YouTube
illegal.
law, like if there is, because here's the thing, Miestra. Let me just pitch this to you, because I could see this is what I see that has happened. So the whole Google Hangouts thing, this functionality, you said it's been around for basically since it came out, so about 6 years now.
Yep.
So if many of us have known that you could, okay, Mark Zuckerberg has a piece of tape over his laptop, maybe I should do the same thing. Okay, we've taken precautions. It's not necessarily something you're considering, but now we live in a day of age where it's like doxing is like a huge thing and stuff. And now it comes down to, well, if you were aware of this, you've taken precautions, so it doesn't freaking matter to you. However, if you haven't, you might not have known about this. And I talked to some folks, and I either get this has been around for a long time, or I didn't know about this stuff.
Exactly. Because you have people like me that are viewed as internet, doomsday prepper types that have been screaming about this for the last year and a half, and that know about it, and then you have the Pax Popula that doesn't know about it and doesn't care because they just want to tweet or use their fucking phone while they're streaming their crepes and waffles. They don't care till it matters to them.
I do like PAX. I haven't been there since 2013. Oh God, it's been too long. When did the force throw go out of balance? When did we turn on the Large Hadron? 2008, about a decade.
Yeah.
I don't know. The world seems to be a little off kilter or anything like that. It's a time of chaos.
I don't really think that we're bouncing between parallel universes every time they turn on the collider.
I was making an obscure reference from the other night. I'm sorry. I had to.
No, that's fine. This is not anything new. It's just new to other people because they either said you were crazy and you were being a conspiracy theorist, or they didn't care. Now that it directly affects them, they care. This is a very human response. Nobody gives a shit about the fact it's going to flood until it's flooding, and then they want to know why the levees weren't built. And it's like, well, you haven't spent money on, river, reconstruction for the last 15 years because it didn't matter, and now we have a 100-year flood. Good job, guys.
Well, Miestra, I have a single question for you. Noah, will you help us build an ark?
Ah! See, that's the thing. Like, okay, so because of the way these work, if you go to like a Gab or a BitChute, which does not use these practices, the other companies, because you've signed this over in patch note X, Y, or Z, can still go there and have legal recourse to demand access to your profile and account. This is like the whole thing where there's shadow accounts from Facebook, where they use other people's data because, you agreed to give Facebook access to your content. So even if you don't have a Facebook account, Facebook has an account for you that they've already filled out, geotagged, everything else. So you say, like, getting married with Fred and tag you in a photo. So they have your picture, they have the location, they have the date, and this is cross-referenced through the Facebook algorithm, so that way they know exactly what they're talking about. I mean, this is nothing new. Facebook has been doing this at least since 2009.
Yeah.
And this is a decade old. Like, this is new. Nothing new about this. This is old drama that nobody wanted to care about because they never do this. And yeah, they have. It's just a frog analogy. They're just slowly been turning up the heat.
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems like that's exactly what's happened, and it seems to be highly unfortunate. This is the state of affairs we are in the United States of America and a lot of places around the world, like you were saying, man.
These are international conglomerates. You were talking about the state of
that's the effect. That's the effect. No, but here now, when the Twitch case happened, when did the Twitch legislation go through? This past year?
I think that was in June, July, because there was suit against this one major streamer lost his ability to stream on Twitch because he said naughty words on, I think it was
Ninja.
Twitter or Facebook.
It was Ninja. He dropped an N-bomb while he was streaming, I think.
Yeah.
No, that's a different case. This was the direct one where they went through and used the things in his social media portals elsewhere and banned him for that. It was nothing on service because this is the lawsuit that substantiated the fact that a hosting service can go through your other social media portals, and that is now substantiated by law. I think that was June or July 2008 because the guy lost and Twitch won because Amazon is a massive fucking company and good luck suing Bezos. So that's who owns Twitch, is Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these companies, I've been saying that, like, ever since before these AAAs have been just shitting all over their fan base, I've been saying that this is kind of been happening, like it's gonna happen. Let me go ahead and double check the chat real quick. We might have a bunch of people. Or we might just have a few. The only thing I didn't like was the VR section. Do you have the difficulty settings set all 10 for all of them? Yep. This game was before mouses were used for aiming Vash. Yeah. I kind of noticed that. Wait, are they also getting rid of Google Voice? I use Google Voice as my phone. YouTube Messenger isn't on mobile. Well, what they're saying, Jojo, is they are saying that these entities are basically allowing people to, let's say that the Dargun just woke up, he's in his boxer shorts, somebody invites him to Google Hangout, and he goes, you know what, I'll humor it, and just decides to, turn on that Google Hangout just to talk, and some asshole decides to go, I want to see what the Dargun's up to. And they have the right to do that, and I personally disagree that they should.
My gosh, the owner of the call has a right to do that, or the administrator of the call that the owner has delegated administrative rights to.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And it's...
Nuance matters, not trying to be an ass.
Oh, no, it's alright. I don't mind being corrected, but it's one of those things that it's just, like, I believe that's a bit too invasive. I mean, but...
Well, what is the threshold here for a company to be able to do something that could inherently affect a person's livelihood? Because all I know is, under the Fifth Amendment, the right of persons, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a precedent or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy. I'm getting to it. Nor shall you. It's basically you cannot be deprived of things without due process of law.
Memes. Here's the legal response. No one's forcing you to use Hangouts. Therefore, you are willfully engaging in this activity. Therefore, you have already chosen to suborn your rights away. Hence, you wouldn't have clicked I accept and join call. Period. You choose to use it. No one's forcing you to use it. There is not a government or corporate agency that is saying that you have to use this. So therefore, the 5th, 4th, and 8th Amendments do not apply.
Our party's acting in good faith.
Yeah.
Period.
Because a lot of, when you bring it down to it, it's kind of like the old, you can call it the English common law, like the doctrine of good faith or something, as long as you're acting in good faith. If someone violates that good faith, and again, that can be very subjective, it seems, nowadays, but it's just...
But then again, you also have to consider the fact that since no one forced you under duress, use this. Therefore, you actively chose to engage in this behavior. And in English common law, ignorance of the law is no defense against it. That has been that way since the 11th century.
Yeah,
Period.
but we also have ex post facto, man. It's like you can't be convicted of a crime if it wasn't illegal at the time you did it, man. Like that's where I'm kind of like, I don't see it, but like I feel like there's something akin to that going on, man. Like folks being held. Like I posted this on Twitter 10 years ago, man, and like folks like losing jobs and stuff. It's just like that. It doesn't really jive, right? Like,
most companies include in their employment handbook when you sign that shit because you're required to. They have a right to see what their employees do on or off work, and if you don't like that, work somewhere else. That is already again substantiated in law. So no, it doesn't work that way, man.
Yeah. Okay, would you say, and again, you can't say in all cases, but at least in some of these cases, parts of those contracts would be unconscionable?
I say it's immoral, but we're not arguing morality. We're arguing legality. Those aren't mutually accepted terms. They're typically mutually exclusive terms. So what's legal is hardly ever what's moral.
No. I'm not arguing the point that they have it very well defined. That's why, like you said, you got like 72, 84. I think the last time I saw like an Apple thing, it was pushing like 100 or so pages, like long. It's like, all right, I read 38 pages like once, and then I'm like, I skimmed through. I'm just like, no, I can't finish this, dude. It's just so freaking long.
Yeah,
but all I know is, at least from my base business law class and stuff, there are times where if a contract is so completely egregious, so completely one-sided and stuff, at times, if it's just completely and utterly abhorrently unfair, like, yes, a very extreme case,
you're talking about
that part can be thrown out, but the rest of the contract, as well as the judge or whatever, Roddy Ken wants to keep the rest of that document intact.
Well, what you're talking about is like the BGM or BMG music suits of the 1990s, and the fact that they had overly long contracts that you could just tape a penny to and ignore. And in order to fix that, you need to have an aggrieved party that needs to take them and the court and prove that the contract is not understandable to the common layperson. And good luck with that, because you're suing Google, you're suing Facebook, you're suing Twitter, you're suing Amazon for Twitch, you're suing Netflix, you're suing every last one of these fucking companies, because by now they all have mirrored and almost exactly the same wording of their terms of service. Good luck with that. But that's
No. Okay, so that is an absolutely titanic effort.
No shit.
So what you're saying is, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. Yeah, of course there's a chance. There's a chance when you flip a nickel, it'll land on its side, too. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Well, occasionally it does. But
yes, there's an actual chance.
Okay, so Miestra, Vash, let me ask you fellas this. What if you had one shot, one opportunity? You had this one endeavor where you might actually be able to do something. Would you take it?
Sure. Absolutely. If I had the amount of money it would take to get Amazon or Google or Alphabet, Microsoft, Yahoo, Facebook, Twitter into an actual courtroom, but I don't have the money to pay for 5 to 8 years of legal stalling from all of those companies.
What if we started with Patreon?
Every one of them can add themselves as an adjoint party because they have the same legalese in their contract for their end-user agreement. So that means you're higher tax.
Sorry to cut you off, but I understand. It's a ridiculous amount of power, but if you look at it from, again, a layperson's point of view, who is ultimately right in your general opinion? Again, just off the top.
I think that they're incorrect. But then again, let's take this into real suits, for example. Walmart got sued 18 times before they were successfully sued, and that took a class action lawsuit. That was one megacorp. We're talking about 8 of them at minimum together that had a combined vested interest in this. Good luck. I'm more than willing to do it, but I'm not an aggrieved party. I haven't lost any of my social media access. I haven't lost access to my phone. I haven't lost access to any of these things. Therefore, I can't even sue. I don't have grounds to sue.
No. I'm not asking for you to, like, just, like, step up and have your own thing. I mean, if we were going to try to entertain that, I could always say, well, since it changed back in, like you said, like, June or July or something with that contract, that's probably the last time I actually sat down and read the whole, like, Google Hangouts, like, terms of service. Like, I actually read it once MD was like, oh, look, I now have this functionality. It's like memes. Are you wearing your clothes? I'm like, yes. You know, I'm like, I'm not naked at the moment. So he's like, all right, check this stuff out. We're doing a test. And honestly, he's like, bam, check this out. And I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, wow, that is absolutely terrifying. I was not aware of this functionality. And then I went back that same day and I read, I'm like, oh, that did change. So maybe there are a lot of folks out there. Because, dude, a lot of folks out there don't know about it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is my camera was turned on twice in my own bedroom. And again, it's like, that's why I tweeted at them. I tweeted at, was it YouTube, Google, because I couldn't find an official Hangouts blue check server, and YouTube or Law. I'm like, should the admins in a Hangout have the ability to turn on another participant's camera? And the only person I saw respond yet was YouTuber Law, and he's like, not without major disclaimers. Even still, it is likely an invasion of privacy rights.
Yeah, but it's been around long enough. No one's brought it up to be a complaint, and you have the option to opt out of the software. If you read there's an end user license agreement flashed in your face before every Hangout you join.
EULAs!
Exactly. You should read that and then say, no, I don't want them to be able to turn on my camera. That is the legal response to that. Because you sign away your 5th, 4th, and 8th Amendment rights by clicking yes, you have no right to bitch. No one is forcing you to use this.
It's like using like a telecom provider and stuff. A lot of times you'll see like the ULO, like the UCL fees and stuff, and technically the provider can pay it, but most of the time they're like, nope, it's taxes and fees.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what you're talking about though is already been established. YouTube or Law might be onto something with it being inappropriate. It doesn't change the fact that you yourself sign away those rights in the TOS that you have to sign every call. Because Google, Alphabet's covered their ass on this. You don't sign it once when you first sign up for Hangouts. You sign it every time you join a call.
Box each time. No, you are right. You are correct about that. It's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think it was communicated. Like the thing is with like Macintosh, he said he got like a pop-up, like basically something came out saying new functionality. And again, like I'm not exactly sure which browser he's using. I thought he was using a version of Chrome. I could be wrong, but he said he had new functionality, and then it went in there, and there was that added functionality. And just the sheer fact that, again, I join calls all the time, and it's like, I read it like a couple of times and stuff, and like it does say something different now. And if it changed back then, you know what? Hey, that's on me. I didn't actually read that, but just something about the ability for somebody to just turn on another person's camera. Is that something that should be available? To
be fair, back whenever I was in my tech savvy days, you know, I'm not some like watchdog or anything, but back whenever I was really tech savvy, and Yahoo Messenger was, you know, the fucking cat's meow at the time. You could actually bridge your connection with other people just by sending them an image and then finding their IP, and then you can look into their cam anyway. But I mean
Vash, that specific example is illegal, and Yahoo got in a lot of trouble for that. Yeah. Specifically, the thing that's covering Alphabet's ass on the specific issue is that to join the call, you have to sign the EULA. Every time. Every fucking time you sign your rights away, every call. And that's set up for the call owner, who then actually owns your likeness, your words spoken, everything. You have no right to use anything in that call unless the owner/administrator of that call gives you permission. So let's say you're having if you're having person B host the call for you to post it on your site because your computer's down, Person B can just say, this is mine now, and put it wherever they want. And I mean, that's already been litigated to full extent because a bunch of people wanted their shit taken down because they said embarrassing or annoying things on a call, and people like Ethan Ralph or Thomas Saw would be using it.
They say they want you to take it down, but he's like, I cannot take it down. It was not my stream.
Exactly. It's not my stream. It's not my right. I have no ownership over this intellectual property. You sign that away when you join. This is why I don't use Google Hangouts. I use Discord, because Discord's terms of service, I own my likeness and my speech everywhere I go. If I really wanted to be a dick, I could strike Vash for the fact that he's got my audio and I want to dual host it on my shit, and he can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
I could host the audio, not the video, whatever he's streaming out. That's his. But the audio I could host on my stream without any question.
What if you're streaming at the same time?
Well,
And by the way, I just I want it quickly noted on my stream, since that was brought up. Anybody that's a part of the stream is more than, like, they can use any of the content that they're a part of.
Yeah, no, thanks, Vash. I'm just using you as an example.
Yeah, but I just thought about that, and I was like, I never really have said that.
Yeah, but to use Memes' thing, like, if I'm co-streaming at the same time, I'd have to use OBS, because using Hangouts in this particular example would force stream through the stream ID key of the Hangout to whoever is the owner / administrator. So, like, if Vash was using Hangouts, it automatically would update to his stream, and then I would need some form of third-party software that could capture the audio and capture the video and then host it to my stream. And then I'd probably be available for being struck down because I signed those rights away to my likeness, to my speech, the minute I joined the Hangout call. So Vash could totally knock down my co-stream because he's using Hangouts. It's one of the seedier things. And I think there was a Jake Paul stream or Shane Paul stream that successfully did that to another big-in YouTuber who was co-streaming at the same time that they were on a call, and he got their shit taken down because it was taking off of their particular stream. So, I mean, that's already, again, substantiated in law as this is how it is. So, again, people should have cared over the last couple of years. By not caring, these things are now legally substantiated, and good luck with that.
Yeah, but caring is hard.
Yeah.
Well, then don't bitch now. You should have cared then.
I did care, but I get distracted by shiny things.
That's also on you.
I
know I'm sounding like a total fucking asshole here, and I'm not trying to. It's just the law is an unwieldy, unforgiving tool, and this is why I'm a hardcore libertarian. There shouldn't be a law for. I don't really. But this is what happens when there are laws to cover this. So, this is how the law works. We've agreed upon this for almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So.
Are there already laws on the books to help take care of this, or is this like the point where you want to have that quote-unquote Internet Bill of Rights?
See, there are laws to cover this, and there are judgments to cover this, and they've already been heard in court. What?
Oh, I said it's probably a pain in the ass to go by the laws in the books, because that's what I keep going back to. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there are laws in the books to take care of this. Like, why am I not seeing this?
Because they've already been challenged and new judgments have been applied. This isn't 1994 when people are figuring out how this relates to the International Telecommunications Act. Like, no, this has already been decided. This has been decided for decades now. And again, having been called a conspiracy theorist for pointing out the direct cause effect of these decisions, I kind of just don't,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't call me a conspiracy theorist. It's just I've been told that you're spouting conspiracy. Nobody would actually do that. Google says that they won't be evil. I'm taking things too far. This isn't how this is going to be.
No, the judgments matter.
Exactly. It doesn't matter because they wouldn't do this, and now you're looking at it that way. And again, the way that you could get around it is if, for example, you did not have to sign that terms of service, EULA, every time you join a call, then yeah, you'd have grounds. but you don't, because they do. You know, this is why there's no other chat feature that allows you to do that. Like, you know, the Twitter peer-to-peer
unconstitutional. Because all I know...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, all I know, dude, is like Facebook is now, they gave the right to access your private messages to a number of their partners.
Yes, but that you can probably sue for. And that is probably going to be determined in court, because these other companies are looking like shit because they had no idea that they gave read, write, and delete permissions to your private messages as part of the functionality for Amazon and Apple and a couple of car companies and shit.
Can we avoid suing everybody in a massive bloodbath legally? Can we just rectify this, man? Like, wouldn't it be easier on all parties? Like, isn't it? What was it like? What was it? What was that guy with the big ears on Star Trek?
Spock.
Is it Worf?
Worf was the Klingon. Spock was a Vulcan. Like, that's as much as I know about Star Trek.
Who are the guys that have like the rules of business?
Oh, that's from like Deep Space Nine and the Fugly Faces. I don't know who the fuck what they're called. I'm not a Trekkie. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Rule 35: peace is profitable.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. You brought up the English common law system, right? The only way that the common law system works is if you use the legal system instead of killing people. That's why it exists. So if you want to change the legal system, you have to do this within the constraints and confines of a legal system. Ergo, you have to sue to change the law and change practices. If you don't, then they can just change them back when the PR dies down. Because there's no legal injunction or legal requirement for them to change. Like, so yes, you do have to sue, unfortunately. So, I mean, Facebook will probably lose that suit, but Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, fucking the Apple Communications, and even Google's Google Plus program do not have that functionality because none of them bother to make you sign a EULA every time you use it. So, because Hangouts does this, it's unique within all of the communication software that exists. Because every time you join a call, sign that EULA again. And they can change that EULA between calls. And are you going to read 108 pages of EULA every time you want to join a call? Realistically,
because that a reasonably prudent person would do on a regular basis.
Legally, yes.
Do you think your average citizen?
Fuck no, I don't even do that. No, hell no.
If almost everybody agrees that they don't read the entire terms of service, and almost maybe nobody in the history of many services have read the entire statement every single time. If that's a given that nobody's reading it, how do the words actually hold weight?
Again, you have to have an aggrieved party take it to court and prove it. Until that happens, yeah, it's de facto because you click the button. No one's making you do this.
I don't want to fucking sue Google because my camera, it is an invasion of privacy, but I like Google.
This is how
I aggrieved.
This is how the law works. This is how the laws worked for 1,000 years, memes. Like, take it or leave it. You can't argue that this is our system and then not use our system. Like, it doesn't work that way, man.
I don't know.
It's a pain in the ass. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Maybe it was because my dad was a lawyer for like 50 years, and he's like, suing people is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is. That's why most disputes are handled out of court.
Well, I mean, look at...
only go to court when they are so pissed off at each other that they cannot interact without having an intermediate third party.
I truly agree, but over bullshit things, it's like, I get it, you're doing the principal angle and stuff, but it's like, oh...
You know, you're making a woulda, coulda, shoulda argument, and I'm coming across like the bad guy because I'm having to constantly reference the rule book and tell you this is how it is. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really not. It's just, you can't have it both ways. I mean, the minute that you get rid of those requirements, it will get used against you. You have to look at law and how can this fuck me over before you ever write a new law. Like, how can this be used against me to ruin my life? Okay, it can't be because of X, Y, and Z. So therefore, okay.
Yeah, wasn't there a past case that decided this, and you just said these new cases like changed it?
Yes, actually, because the previous standing before these cases had to do with the fact that you had your own layer of privacy and there could not be intercooperation between competitors. Well, because of the Twitch lawsuit losing, there can be, because this is no longer a breach of your privacy because you signed it away in the EULA Terms of Service. You knew ahead of time. You should have read it. The fact you didn't read it, again, ignorance is not an excuse. If you kill someone, you cannot say, I didn't know murder was illegal. Same thing.
Oh, okay, so I get that, and I understand for credit card ads in like the old magazines and stuff, or even prescription drugs, you'd have like a nice colorful photo on one side, and then all of a sudden you flip it over, and there's an entire page in like size 2 font there. Yep. And like I think I actually have read the entire one of those, and it's like, all right, that is on a single page. That was a pain in the ass. I did it. At this point, I think the first Apple contract I did, I think it was like 45 pages or so. I think maybe about 52. But I got through about 38, and I'm like, dude, no, all I'm looking through is Apple will never be held responsible for any damage for anything, anytime. I get that far through, and I'm like, all right, a lot of this, the way it's going, it's like this complete thing, or at least many parts of it, are completely unconscionable. It's like, all right, aside from like a direct harm where it's like third-party arbitration, okay, I get that. That can be seen as fair in some instances. But aside from that, I'm like, all right, if I was ever truly harmed by one of these things, I'm pretty sure it's going to accept absolutely no responsibility, put all the burdens on myself. But I'm like, at that point, that just seems unconscionable for the average consumer, man.
Well, I mean, just look at how companies, for one, you're required to get insurance, but you have to fight tooth and nail against that insurance in order for them to even and you're paying them for this service. You are paying them money for their service, but you have to fight them tooth and nail to actually have them pay what they're supposed to pay originally.
Okay, there are two different streams of thought here. Okay, I'm going to address both of them, so give me a second, Jim. The first train of thought, I'm going to address the insurance one because the insurance one is rather particular. If we're talking about auto insurance, there is no legal right to drive. You're talking about a privilege. So that's a different thing. If we're talking about health insurance, there is more post-Obamacare. There is more of a regarding for that. And I don't want to get into that because that hasn't fully been through the courts yet. Now, if we're going to talk about like the credit card commercials or that type of thing, again, you are using a service that no one is requiring you to use. You can always go get another card. You can always go to a competitor if you don't like this. That's the reason why, like, if you've ever seen medication commercials, it's like, the such and such and such can lead to death, bloating, destruction, anal blowout, whatever the fuck shit they say at the end that makes you go, why would you ever take this?
Yeah.
But, again, though, as far as these companies are concerned, you can always go to somewhere else. No one is requiring you to go there. Where it gets dicey is when it gets into, like, businesses, for example. And even then, this has been legally substantiated. If you don't like the fact that the business that you work for wants access to your private Twitter, your private Facebook, you can work somewhere else. That is the legal judgment already.
Yeah.
You can go elsewhere. You do not have to work there. And you're at a very interesting point where you're at a stage where you need to have practically a legal degree to understand, the EULA, and that is probably the best method of attack, is saying this is overly complex legalese, or the common person cannot understand the meaning and ramifications of what they're signing away. That's the best approach. And even then, that's a long shot suit. It's worked in the past. There's been several places where it's worked in the past. It's worked in auto insurance, it's worked with credit cards, it's worked with medication, it's worked with health insurance. I mean, there's a lot of places where that's worked. However, that's a good, long 9-year slog to prove that's the case. And you're going to need a lot of financial backing just by the sheer amount of money these companies have to put up against you. Again, I refer back to the Walmart suit. To successfully sue Walmart took a governmental agency and a class action lawsuit and almost a dozen years to get that suit.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. That's true. It's just we have, and again, I understand there's only so many resources and go so many places, but we do live in the age of, like, if we are post social media at this point, where like our level of interconnectivity, just for better or worse, is just so high. Like, it seems like we're talking about like a process here, a journey. But like you said, if it is just, well, if you don't like our service, you can go somewhere else. What happens if one goes somewhere else and all of a sudden that particular provider of said service is completely torpedoed by other players within the industry, a la Subscribestar?
Yeah.
They end up being torpedoed, and that ends up being a potential antitrust violation there. Then it's more than just simply, well, we have a lawsuit like for the people. It's like there could be like major violations, potential actual, what do they say, collusion going on?
Yeah, it's collusion, therefore forming a trust. It's not a monopoly. A better way to look at this is there are realistically only 2 credit card companies on the planet. Okay, Discover really doesn't count. American Express is kind of a joke. So you have Visa and MasterCard. So the way this works is, like, let's say you're pissed off at MasterCard for what they did to Tommy Robinson and Richard Spencer with pressuring PayPal and other places that they wouldn't be able to work. You can go to Visa. That's still the way it's viewed. Now, what happens if Visa interacts? The only other response you can have is to then take it to court, because there is no other viable alternative that you can use, and they're acting as a trust together to drive out competition. That's your only recourse. That's the only way you can go, and that's going to be a long, grueling suit. Because as long as there's at least the perception of competition, you have to prove in a legal sense there isn't actually competition. Because that perception has to be legally dissuaded and legally proven to not exist.
Is this partly a fact of Congress maybe should have been doing more or paying more attention to this? Or like, is this,
well, I honestly,
Congress don't care.
No. Honestly, the place where this could have been changed was that shit fucking hearing where Marco Rubio was sucking, I think it was Jack Dorsey's dick the entire time, and then got furious that Alex Jones was standing there ripping into him because he didn't even understand the reason that they were there, and blew it. That was the last time without a major government suit from, like, the Attorney General suit that this could have been resolved, and they blew it.
No, I remember when Ted Cruz was talking to Mark Zuckerberg before. Like, he had like 2 to 5 minutes to ask him questions. He asked him some very pointed questions that.
But they're not compelled under. They're not compelled under contempt of Congress. He was not put under oath, therefore he could say whatever he wanted because they didn't treat it appropriately. They didn't treat it seriously.
Yep.
That's the exact instance I'm talking about. They had a chance to fix it. They blew it. Now you're looking at major overhaul of the financial sector and legal sectors.
So you're saying Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, the CEOs of 2 of the most powerful Silicon Valley companies in the world, were not under oath in front of Congress. However, Diamond and Silk were.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And you can go to C-SPAN and look it up.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what happened. Diamond and Silk were put under oath for contempt of Congress and contempt of court if they lied and were committing perjury. Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey were not. They had attorneys with them. Diamond and Silk weren't allowed to have attorneys, as per the oath to Congress. You can have one behind you, but you can't have one sitting next to you, which Zuckerberg and Dorsey both had, because they had counsel there, even while not under oath. Why do you think they didn't say anything? They were just like, well, upon referring to counsel, I'm going to just blow him and not answer your question.
We we do realize the optics of that look absolutely horrible, right?
Yeah, and if anybody had cared about it, they would have looked at it and said something. Instead, they didn't do dick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what, 4 or 5 months old now. Like, this is old news.
That just bothered me till to end. I'm just looking at this situation. I'm like, all right, you got, let's face it, you got 2 white dudes that basically are extremely wealthy, are at the top of the corporations, basically influencing just majority, a very large part of the world right now. And then you got 2 adorable little black gals coming around and basically just kind of building something on their own, and then they end up like trying to, like, people threatening lawsuits to get the, well, you lied about this or something. No, we meant this. We were reimbursed in this way. It's like, all right, they don't have a lawyer there. These 2 other dudes get. I'm just like, the optics on that look freaking horrible. It's like,
well, fuck optics. Why do you have to get racial? Why not just bring up the fact you're talking about the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% worldwide versus 2 middle class to lower middle to upper lower class people from still within the top 1% of the 1% of the world. I mean, if you're an American, you're in the top 1% of the 1% of the world, period, because you live in America. But I just make it a class issue. Why do you have to get racial about it? It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with money and class.
Oh, my apologies. I was going down the identity politics a little bit.
Yes, you were. And I stepped on that hard.
Yeah.
My apology. Wow, I offend everybody, man.
No, you didn't offend me at all, man. I'm not offended. I'm giggling over here. I will put up with identity bullshit.
Just because, like, that actually sounds like kind of like that corner of the internet, like a meme. It's like,
yeah,
okay, these things get said all the time. They say certain folks kind of get. I'm just like, it's just awkward because it's set up in like a reverse. It's like you got the ideologies kind of just like. I don't know, man. It makes my mind twist in a weird direction.
Here's a much better and more dystopian thing. Do you guys remember back in 2006 when the big corporations were the target of the left? When did the left suddenly start sucking the dick of megacorps and start going, well, this is their right as a megacorp to do what they want, and if you don't like it, don't use it.
Oh,
like,
I
that's
remember.
Even more fucked up and jarring.
I think that's the moment in history. Well, it's the law.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's even more twisted and weird. But I mean, it's Jesus. You know, that's one of those things, man, where it's just.
When Mitt Romney could say corporations are people, my friend, and as aside from just a few occasional jab, how many Democrats were actually saying that, except for Bernie Sanders, who's not even a Democrat?
Well, the fucked up part is that the Democrats were against it when Romney said it, but when it was presented by Ocasio-Cortez, which is the new thought leader of the left, that corporations have the same First Amendment rights as people because they spend money like people, so therefore they count as people. That was not challenged at all. As a matter of fact, crazy-ass Maxine accepted that wholeheartedly and chugged that bitch down like it was the best tasting cum guzzle she'd ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus,
and
dude.
to me, it's fucked because that's how you get President Mickey Mouse.
Well, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, no. What have you guys ever seen Black Mirror at all?
Believe so. What year did it come out?
No, but Black Mirror is still coming out. It's a TV show on Netflix. It's this really dystopian British show. Anyway, there's an episode, I think it's from season 3. I don't really like the show much because it's fucking dark, but where they run an animated character in a local election, and the fucking thing, if I remember correctly, gets elected. And yeah, that's kind of where you're headed in that regard for President Mickey Mouse. Like, since corporations are people too, mascots have feelings, don't they? Mascot privilege.
Oh, God.
Hey, is it really that stupid? Is it really that extreme? I mean, I'm just proposing what might come a year or two from now, not even what has come.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of people really sad in this call because I just keep bringing up what the law is. So.
No, for me, like I said, this is like an education type of thing. Whenever I've learned something, then I have my perspective, and I really want to hear other people's views on it. I may not agree, but at the same time, I'm one of those types of people that, hey, if I was wrong, I was wrong, and thanks for proving me wrong, you know? But this is all kinds of fucked.
Well, this is one of those times when I'm actually rather pissed that I was right. And I really wish that I was a conspiracy theorist on these points. It's just typically what I'm accused of being is hyper-rational and hyper-logic, and it seems that I was in the correct on this particular issue, because, man, they're doing exactly what they said. And to go back to the frog analogy I brought up, this was substantiated in law a good 3 years ago for most of this shit, 6 months ago for the new batch of crap they're doing, and they're just now turning the heat up. Yep. People are just now noticing a function that's been in Hangouts for 7 years because it's being, fucked around with. It's being more out in the open. The original way you'd have to do this, okay, just to let you know, when Hangouts first came out, you'd have to go under administrator settings. You'd have to go under that. You'd have to turn on administrator override for that. And then after administrator override was turned on, you'd have to specifically select a specific user and then override their permissions to do it that way.
Also, what's up, Optimus? Praise Doug. Just wanted to say that real quick, pausing just to look at the chat and address the chat. And Happy New Year, Ogre. Also, how do you like your image for the stream boss? Figured you might like it, but all right, go ahead, continue. Sorry about that.
The new features that they put into Hangouts was they made a couple of buttons to click to do it, as opposed to having to dig into the actual permissions and user settings. Kind of like what they were talking about with the TikTok crap, where you can actually go and block everyone, so that way they can't do everything. The functions are there under the account controls, but you have to dig into the account controls to do it. That's where it was buried before. Now it's just a feature that you can just do. So, like,
they've removed the number of clicks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at, I have my Hangouts window open right now, and I'm looking at it, and I can click on myself or anyone else, and it's 2 clicks for force present, and then boom, done. As opposed to having to go into the specific, administrator settings, owner settings, then administrator settings, because it's buried under 2 fucking sections originally to do it. Now it's just right click and force present, and you're good as long as you're an administrator or the call owner.
Yeah.
So it's been buried within there. So basically, anybody with like a modicum of technical expertise that's really explored it past its just generic functionality, they would know that this has existed basically since.
Oh yeah, I brought up, this was used against Amazing Atheist. This was used against fucking Soygon. This was used against Shitrat. Just to name 3 people that have already run afoul of this last year, 2017.
Deep lore. Oh, dude, I wasn't familiar. I must.
Yeah, no. There's been plenty of times when YouTubers with beef with each other would force present, and that's how they did it. There was a fucking Kumite stream where they did that to one of the callers, and the guy got lividly pissed, and they just were laughing about it in Kumite. I mean, this is not new. It's just it's now so accessible and so easy. Anyone under the sun can just right click and do this.
I always heard and I'd see a couple of the Kumite clips, but I never actually sat there and watched it, because a lot of times I would click on it because I would see it and I'm like, here's a reel of some DBZ and like One Piece footage. Okay.
Yeah.
I see some 1488s in the chat. All right, we're moving along. Some folks talking about some smack. Okay, drama. Okay. All right, I'm gonna watch Peter.
Yeah, but the thing is the fact that this has been around for a long time. It just has not been that accessible because you haven't actually gone in and dug around. I mean, there's not that many people that have to sit there and play with every aspect of their new toy before they're satisfied with it. I am one of those types. Where the minute I start using new software, I have to figure out every little fucking thing it can do because I want to know how to work it. This is why my OBS still kind of sucks, because I'm still digging around trying to figure it out. I'm still not good enough with it to do so. But, I mean, again, like, this is not new.
I hear you on that. The last time I actually played with something that deeply was Serpentera in the 5th grade.
Okay.
Because my parents got that for me, the Power Rangers toy. Dude, got that as a birthday present. It's like, You have to play with this every day.
Encoding
At
issues.
least for like a week and a half or so. I played with that every day, dude. It was fucking badass. It could have that
Yeah,
shit like Godzilla and stuff.
Optimus,
yeah, but
I did try and switch the code, and it's kind of making it a little bit steadier, but it's also the internet connection. But doing what we can for that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, just because it's more accessible means more people are going to realize that they can do it. And since it's old enough that there's already substantive, and again, these aren't laws, these are judgments. A judgment is much easier to overturn than a law. However, to do that, you have to take it up to a higher court. So the place where this was settled was, I believe, the Ninth Circuit. Yeah, it was the Ninth Circuit. The other one was in the Third Circuit. So this is California and New York, once again, determining law for the fucking world. Thank you, guys. But in order to deal with that, you're going to have to take it to the federal Supreme to get that overturned, or you're going to have to get a congressional law presented. Either one of these is pretty shitty. I mean, neither one is fun. And when you have, ghouls like our notorious RGB phoning in a fucking judgment, which you're not allowed to do, motherfucker, but phoning in a judgment so that way it's 5-4 and you can't do X, Y, or Z on her fucking deathbed, good luck. I mean, it can be done, yes, and I know I sound a little black-pilled here, but again, the law is not exactly a pretty substance. It's really not. It's a pretty blunt and ugly tool.
Well, that's why I'm always like hesitant of doing new law. If you're going to do a law, it's just you're going to affect things. You're going to try to plan the best you can. You're still going to do it poorly. You just need to try to account for things. And if mistakes are made, you got to do your best to owe up and correct for them. It's just nobody really wants to seem to do that.
Just noticed that I look kind of like ass, but
Well, see, that's the real dangerous thing, though, that you just mentioned. Because people are adverse to spending that much time and effort for things they don't really care about, by the time they care about it, there's already been a judgment made. There's already been litigation written. There's already been legalese written. It's already done and over with by the time they care. So, I mean, is this fixable still? Yeah. Is this probably going to require something where some skeevy douchebag turns the camera on somebody who's underaged and does something inappropriate before it gets dealt with? Probably, because legally speaking, there's not enough of an aggrieved party to go after them for. Now, who legitimately has been hurt yet from having forced presentation that surpasses the legal requirement for you should have known better before you clicked accept on the EULA? That's the real problem.
yeah. And I'm adjusting the stream just a little bit. I'm gonna stop the stream real quick, and we will be right back. Gonna try and get this thing fired back up.